Okay, we're recording. So I didn't know if you wanted to start, because everybody knows who you are. Like, they love you. But I didn't know if you wanted to start by telling a little bit about your story, and then we can get into the rest of it.
Yep, that sounds good.
All right.
Okay, so hey, amazing Team Wilkinson people. I'm so excited. You guys are awesome. Okay, so I'm Vanessa. Tomorrow, well, actually, it's the 29th for me. So today is my 4-year anniversary with It Works, which is just crazy, crazy, crazy. So anyway, let's go back. So I joined the business in 2014. I was about a year and a half out of college, and I did it the perfect way. You know, I grew up really poor. My mom was a single mom. She also suffered from mental disability. She had bipolar disorder and manic depression. So we I lived with so many different families growing up, and we were just dirt poor. And so I realized, obviously, as I grew up, that if I went to school and I got an education, I would not be poor. Like, that's what I thought. That's what they made everybody think, right? So I got my act together, and I worked really, really hard in high school, graduated at the top of my class, got an almost full ride scholarship to a university, got my degree, was so poor in school. Like, I'm so jealous of all these people who are like 19 and working their business in college. I'm like, I hate you all. Was so broke in college. It was so horrible, like crying every semester, like hoping I could pay for my books. So made it through school, graduated, and then I got a salary job with paid sick leave and paid vacation. I didn't even know that was a thing. So I thought I made it. I was so excited. But then I had to pay back my student loans. And just, life is so much more expensive than you think. I calculated everything, and I was like, oh, I should be fine. But there's always these things that pop up, and somehow there's always an extra fee for something. And, so I just didn't have enough. I had done it by the books. I had all these student loans, and I had what everyone considers a really great job. And I was still struggling every single month. So I was pissed at 23, so angry that I had worked so hard and done all this stuff and struggled so much, just to still be poor. It was what the heck? This is all a lie. So, I started doing lots of drugs. I was heavy into drinking. I had an eating disorder for about 10 years, just, a lot of self-love issues and just not feeling good enough and thinking oh, if I'm perfectly skinny and pretty, then I'll be successful. Just stupid, And so finally, after a year and a half after I graduated, I joined It Works. I saw my aunt posting about it on Facebook, and I was just what? How can hair, skin, and nails do that? So if you guys follow me, you know that I've had a whole journey with my hair, and I have alopecia on the sides. It's amazing now. This used to be freaking skin, which is just crazy. And so when I saw the hair, skin, and nails, I was oh my God, I need that. But I was I'm poor. I can't afford it. So then I started reading about, my aunt had promoted to enroll, actually. And she was yeah, I'm making $1,000 from my phone. And I was what? Excuse me, I need that, because I already had my office job, and I was also a nanny on the weekends. So I was so busy working all the time. I would work till 5:30 p.m. and then run to be a nanny, and then stay there till 11 p.m. midnight, and it was just awful. So I was okay, how can I do this? So I thought, well, I'll just do the business, and if I can sell a little bit of products, it'll pay for the hair, skin, and nails, so I can at least feel good about my hair. So I skipped my cell phone bill. I took every single nannying shift I could possibly take. Didn't hang out with my friends, didn't go out, nothing. I just babysat everybody's kids every Saturday night, which was really sad. And then that's how I got the money to join and buy the hair, skin, and nails. And so, yeah, that was 4 years ago today, which is crazy. So for me, It Works is so much more than the money. I think for me, I was such a broken, sad, lonely person. My mother passed away my sophomore year in college. I don't have a relationship with my sister. We got a whole issue. Not close with my friends. My aunt quit the business. She blocked me on Facebook, all this fun stuff. So I had nobody, and I was just so broken, and I didn't know how to be the great person that I knew I wanted to be. I just wanted to be happy. I never wanted to have $1 million. I just wanted to not be poor. Pay my bills and still be able to go out to dinner. That's it. And I just needed some way to figure out how to be that person. And this business has been that for me. And so more than anything, like even when I make the Millionaires Club, like I don't even care because I am a great person now. And it's because of what these products did for my health and being around amazing, supportive people that we have in this business who tell you like, you know, you can do it, you're amazing, do self-development, all these things. And so that's been the biggest thing for me in this business more than everything else. And yeah, I think the other important thing is, I think it's a lot of times we only hear of the people who promote really, really fast. I was really slow, actually. My first 6 months, I was terrified. I wasn't confident. I didn't know anything. So I didn't really do anything. I kind of just watched everything that people were doing. And then finally in my 7th month, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. So from my 7th to 12th month, I went from nothing, like 12 customers, to diamond. And got the $20,000 good bonus, which was awesome. And then 11 months after that, I went double diamond. And got the $30,000 good bonus, promoted my boyfriend to emerald, and we got the $2,000 bonus that we had at the time. And I did all of that while living in the Netherlands, which is where my boyfriend is from, in a different time zone. So that's just been crazy, crazy, crazy. And I haven't promoted since. It's been 2 years since I promoted, still working on triple. But I've learned so much from, you know, not making it and what do those things mean, and learning from that experience instead of feeling like I'm not good enough or something's wrong with me because it's taken me so long to get to my next promotion. So like I said, that just goes back to like, man, this business like expands your mind to see so many lessons in life and stop being like, I'm a failure because I didn't do this. It's like, what does this mean? And then every time I have these like aha moments about things in my business, I'm just like, I just get goosebumps because I'm like, I know that this lesson is going to mean so much more for my future than if I had just promoted quickly, things like that. So yeah, that's kind of my story. I've been living in the Netherlands now for 3 years, just about to move back. If I don't leave by June 1st, I'm going to get a fine. So I have to go. But yeah, I moved here to be with my boyfriend so we could actually live together, but we're working on now heading back to the States because that's truly where I want to be, in New York City, and keep working on music, and that's what I went to school for. So yeah, that's my story.
I didn't realize how similar our stories were until right now. Like the whole, I went to school, I went to nursing school, and I thought I was going to be, you know, that's a good paying job. You think you would be like so happy doing that. And then I was like, I'm just doing this because I feel like people tell me like that's a good income. And I don't, like, I did not find my passion until I joined this business. And then, like you said, the personal growth, not promoting super fast, and like just the learning. I love everything you've said because that's my life. So yes. So do you have like a list of the order you want to go in, or just however?
I just have the questions that you sent me, so I can just do that. And if there's questions while I'm answering things, we can just ask those.
Okay, that sounds perfect. I think the biggest thing, and I told these ladies as well, the biggest thing is algorithms, because I think a lot of what they asked, the algorithm, they need help with that. And that will help everything else, which I'm sure you know from looking at the questions. So,
Okay, so let's talk about algorithms. First of all, this goes with everything else. I think when algorithms started, we all got this negative idea. And this is everything in life, right? If you have a negative idea about something, it's not going to go well for you. Like you shoot yourself in the foot right there. So you guys, the algorithms are actually so good for network marketers. Because if you think about when Taylor and I first started, there were no rules on social media. So that means you were fighting with everybody to get your posting every person. Now with the algorithms, like regular average people who just post like pictures of their dog and their kids so like the other 7 family members who follow them can see, their posts aren't really going to be up high in circulation. So when we work really well and we build beautiful Instagrams, our posts are going to be higher up and we don't have to fight with all the regular people anymore. So algorithms are actually amazing in that respect. And I also love that they do, I think, the latest thing now, it's not in chronological order anymore. So that's really awesome. It is in chronological order now. They had undid that. So it was only like the best of the best posts and everyone got angry. So they fixed that. Perfect. So I know, thank God, that was like really annoying. Like, I don't want to see a post from you from 3 days ago. Like, I'm on Instagram to know what you did like yesterday. Like, what did you eat 5 seconds ago? Like, I'm nosy. Okay. So I love that it's all in chronological order again. And what's so great about that is, so say you post like, I don't know, what the last post you made, right? Anybody who comes on Instagram and follows you, your post is going to pop up in their newsfeed no matter if you posted 8 hours ago and they just looked now. You know what I mean? So that's really, really amazing, because it means that you don't have to worry about posting every freaking hour to make sure people see your post, which is what we used to have to do. Now I'm like, I don't know how the heck we did that when I had 2 jobs and I had to try to post 9 times a day and like think of things to say. Like, I don't know how we did that. We were badass, because now I'm like, ooh, I can't even think of a 3rd post today. So the algorithm is actually really, really, really helpful and fun and exciting. And I think it's really not that hard to make it work for you. You know, the key is like doing things that are just normal. You know, I think we start this business as normal people, and then as soon as we become business owners, we like try to be salesy on accident. It makes sense though, because we're like, well, I need to sell a product, so I'm just going to post about products. But really, nobody buys our products because they're just products. They're going to buy you. And that is what social media was made for us to be social with who we are, right? So we have to remember that when we start this business, that we need to be posting things that are us. We need to be posting ourselves. And then adding in like, oh, by the way, I also have these products kind of thing. So I think that's the biggest thing with the algorithm, is just that you want to make sure you are posting things that people want to look at and they don't feel like they're sold to. Because if they feel like they're sold to, they're not going to interact. If they're not going to interact, your post won't get circulated. And if your posts aren't circulated, that means nobody's seeing anything, right? And our posts are so important because our posts water the seeds. We send messages and people are like, okay, I'm interested. But what really keeps them interested and getting closer and closer to a yes to sign as a customer or distributor is seeing your posts every day. But if they're not seeing anything because your stuff isn't circulating, then you know that seed isn't getting watered at the rate that we really want them to get watered at. So that's why if you go to my Instagram, my page, there is nothing about it works on my page unless you read my captions. But you don't see, I don't post pictures of products. I don't post pictures, I don't post result photos, none of that on my timeline. And I know that sounds absolutely crazy, but I actually got this from Christina Watts because she started doing the same thing. And she is a top enroller all the time now, all the time. And she never, like, people were asking her if she quit. She's like the number 5 income earner or something like that. I forget the numbers right now, but people were asking if she quit at Works because her page doesn't have stuff on it anymore. But it's because, of doing, I've heard you guys have heard me say this, of attraction marketing, which is so important. I think if you can marry messaging and attraction marketing, you're going to get the results you want twice as fast without having to like beat yourself to death trying to have 5 Instagrams and message 700 people a day, but you can still get the results of doing that work. And that's what I love about the algorithm, because it can help you do that. So that's why on my page you don't see all of that stuff. Because we forget that like people are naturally intrigued by other people, right? They're curious about other people. So they're not curious about being sold to every day. They're curious about people. And so if you keep posting things that make them curious about you, they'll be curious about what you do. And they will read every single thing that you post about, and they will watch everything that you put on your story. And because they're interested in you, they're going to naturally be interested in what you post about. Like, for example, today I posted, I've been working on building up my booty, and I posted a little video about that and the products that I use. I didn't say a whole bunch of stuff about like, you should buy this if you want to have a butt, all these different things. I just posted about why nutrition is important if you want to build muscle. And I got like 15 replies from people who were like, oh, can you tell me about the products? It's like they asked about the products because they're interested in me as a person. Because I just always, I'm like, oh yeah, this is something I really wanted to do. Really wanted to build the lower half of my body because I've always been bottom heavy and I just wanted to have more shape and things like that. You know what I mean? It's like not so point A to point B when you're selling things. Not so like, hey, I built my butt, you should buy my products. It was more like, hey, this is something I was working on, and these are the products I use because nutrition is so important to building muscle. And then I just posted like, these are the products I use. And then 15 people were like, can I know about the products? And the result, I probably wouldn't have gotten that result if I had just posted a picture of my butt and was like, you should buy this and get 40% off. You see what I mean? Like the difference in those things about putting yourself first. And so that goes back to like, you have to use the products. You must, you must, you must. That's like one of the biggest things. Like if you want to do attraction marketing and be able to still get enrollments, doing it that way, you have to use the products, and you have to be a product of the product. If you go to any of these really big influencer accounts, that's how I learned most of the stuff that I learned from girls that I like. When they share products, they never post a picture with a product and they're like, you can get 40% off. They always post a video of them using it. They always post their own results. Like I follow, excuse me, a lot of girls who use hair products, curly girl hair products. Every time they post for a company, they literally just do a video showing their own hair and how their own hair looks and how their curls look and why they love it. And that's literally all they say. But clearly they're making a ton of money doing this, right? So that shows you that like, just share why you love it instead of constantly being so in everybody's face, like, you gotta buy it, you gotta buy it, you gotta buy it. Share why you love it and just be genuine about it. And that is what is going to make, people want to buy your products. Yeah, okay, so that's when you start doing it that way, you don't have to post, I guess what you would call spammy posts on your page all the time. You don't have to post those, but you don't have to post stuff like that if you're presenting yourself that way on social media. And just for me, like, I do think one thing with the algorithm that has made things a little harder is that, following people inorganically. So that's like when we manually go follow people or use Captivate or something like that, you do get blocked a lot sooner from adding people. And so that's another reason why I stopped posting so much at work stuff on my page, because I don't want to lose followers, since it's a little bit harder to gain them all the time. And my rate of losing followers is so small now because I don't post stuff like that on my timeline. And it doesn't seem like people care when you do it on your story. If they don't seem to care. And every single post I make, almost every post on my timeline, if you read it, is about it works. It's about joining my team. So it's almost like as long as your timeline pictures aren't salesy, nobody cares, So yeah. So that's the other reason I don't post that kind of stuff, super salesy things. I don't want to lose followers. And Instagram is $1 billion industry now for influencers and brand ambassadors. So everybody knows everybody's selling things. And that's another thing too. Like if you're following people, your rate of people following you back, if they go to your page and the first thing they see is a picture of a product, they're probably not going to follow you because there's so much of that going on and people just want to be entertained, really. So if they feel like their immediate impression of you is, I'm just going to be sold to, you're not going to get as many follow backs either. So that's another reason why I stopped doing that. Yeah. Okay. So we covered posting in a little bit of a different way, and yeah, that part of the algorithm. Because yeah, the biggest thing is being seen, right? And the more you post things that people want to interact with, the better your posts get circulated, the more your posts are going to go out into the viral sphere and people are going to be following you back. And just your followers in general seeing your posts. So all of that goes back to just being you first, really beautiful pictures of you and just being yourself, and then using your products and sharing why you love them so much and the results that you're getting and things like that. Because it seems like when people see that you share your products because you really love them, they don't care that you're selling anymore. Like they don't mind because they just see that you're genuine about it. And so I think that's the type of communication we have to get across to people. And I think that also helps people interact with you a lot more, which is going to make your circulation go up. Yeah. What else about the algorithms? Does that cover most of it?
Who just asked me a question? Somebody asked me a question before we started. Was it, okay, so how many times a day are you posting on Facebook and Instagram? Is it, because, I know I do it a little bit differently, but, and then what was the other one? I'll think on it. It'll come.
Okay. On Instagram, my average, I really only post actually once a day right now. Sometimes I post twice. It just depends if the posts make sense together. That's just what I've realized has gotten me the most circulation and the most engagement, and that's really important to me. I'd rather have one good quality post that, 20,000 people see than post 3 times and each post only 50 people see, because my followers get annoyed with how much content I posted, and then less people saw it even though I posted more. So for me, 1 to 2 posts is where I feel comfortable. It's where I see the best result personally. And more than ever now, because I told you guys, like, every post in my timeline, even though it doesn't look like an It Works picture, I always talk about the business. I have gotten more than I ever have PDTs who reach out to me. I think I'm up to like 47 PDTs this month who reach out to me or commented on my own post. So I really believe that a quality 1 or 2 quality posts a day is so much better than posting 3, 4 times or 6 times how we used to. Because I've never had this many people a month reach out to me, and that's happening because they're seeing my posts, because my circulation is up. Because we know how to write life posts, right? We know what we're doing. So if we're not getting the result but we're doing the work, the problem is we're just not seen. That's why. And that's kind of what I figured out. And so I post 1 to 2 times a day on Instagram. Facebook is a little different. I don't know. Facebook, I just like can feel every day like, I think I need another post, or I think this is enough for today. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I feel like you can just tell with like your friends and stuff, where someday they seem really into you and they're like interacting and liking your stuff. And then other days I'll post something and like 3 people like it. And I'm like, I guess I'll stop posting today. They had enough of me for a little bit. Give them a break. So, I think Facebook depends, but it's also the same to a degree, like too much content is just too much, because we forget that like our Facebook friends, they also have a million other people who are posting, right? There's a lot of content for people to see. And I think it's one of those things where like, when you give people less, they want more, and so if you just have 1, 2, like on Facebook, I think I post 3 times a day, because Facebook's just a little different to me. I usually do 2 to 3 posts on Facebook a day. But yeah, I think like a little bit less is always just better, in my opinion, on social media right now, because there's just a million people on there, and there's so much going on, and people are more likely to like read your posts than on Facebook. They have a thing now where if someone you follow posts like 2 or 3 posts, and it will put them all in one little category, and it's like post from so and so. Whenever one of my friends, when that pops up, not that I don't like my friends, but it feels overwhelming to me that there's like a whole list of their posts, and I just scroll past it because I'm like, too much content for my brain, right? So we don't want to make our followers feel like that. What hooks me into a post is when I can see the picture right away and read the first couple of lines. So if you have a bunch of posts back to back and someone logs into their Facebook and all your stuff is scrunched together, you can't see the pictures, and it's just like, your friend Vanessa Thea's posted 4 times today, and that's all you see, you're like, okay, next, So 3 times about on Facebook, 1 to 2 times on Instagram. That's the best result that I've noticed for getting organic interaction. And that's what I mean by that is like people coming to me about the business, people coming to me about the products. A lot more than before, when I used to post a whole bunch and message. Now I'm getting, the same result, messaging plus people coming to me, which is like just so exciting. So I definitely don't post as much. And if you watch the influencer girls on Instagram and guys who have 100,000, 150,000 followers, they also only post 1 or 2 a day. And you can see that their interaction is crazy because people like their content. Like once you really get in your groove and figure out who you are and what your followers like, they want to come to your page and see your stuff. So if they know you only post once a day, when you make that post, they're like ready to go to it and interact and look at it. If they know you're going to post 5 times a day, then again, it's like when we have too much of something, we take it for granted and then we don't care as much. But if you just get a little taste every day, people are like, oh, okay, a little more taste. I want to know what that's about. So that's why I post less. But then go crazy on your story. Like to me, there's never too many stories. I love watching people's stories, and I think most people do, because at the beginning with stories, I noticed that views were very up and down, but now my views are very consistent. So that tells me that people really like watching stories. It's probably for everybody. So that's how I really get in all my products in my business, is on my story every day. So yeah, I know it'll probably feel weird, those of us who have done it the old way for so long, but I'm getting a much better result. And it just feels exciting that I know that I'm speaking to people who are truly interested because they reached out to me. And that makes me feel good, especially PDTs. So I know I'm spending time talking to people who are genuinely interested because they took the time to read my posts and contact me. And I just feel more excited about my business when I know I'm talking to someone who's really interested. Let's see, what else about the algorithms?
What are your favorite like algorithm building tips? Like what's stuff that you do like every single day that like boosts your algorithm?
Okay, so we'll definitely not posting a million times. And the quality of your picture is so important. The algorithm literally has like a thing. Like if your picture's too dark and grainy, it will literally not circulate it on purpose. Like it's crazy. Like social media is so smart. So that's another thing that's nice. If you only post once or twice a day, you can always post your best pictures. And so for me, I always take my pictures during the day when the lighting is the best. And I always check the weather. Like this is like a whole thing for me. Like I check the weather and I see what days are going to be the best. And partly cloudy days are the best. Like this is, it's like a little insane, but right. The insane people are the ones who make it to the top. So it's fine, but check the weather. Partly cloudy days will give you the best lighting. If it's too sunny, everything's overexposed. If it's too dark, your colors look weird and fuzzy. So, partly cloudy days are so good. On those days, do a whole photo shoot in like multiple outfits. Like I do that all the time. I think people think I'm always dressed up every day. Like I put my makeup on, but like my bottom half is always jammies, like all the time, and no bra. Like I don't care. So like you really got to like do that. And then you will always have good pictures, like on a perfect day. And that's how you can also make your page look like one theme. Yes, Kylie. No bra is the best life. Praise it. This is true. I put on a bra for this too. I was like, I don't know. It should be bouncing around. It's fine.
You definitely didn't have to. I mean, we are no bra, no pants team. Like that's how we roll.
Perfect. Yeah. So yeah, my first tip, don't post so much. Second tip, what your pictures, they just need to be beautiful. They have to be. And that doesn't mean like, I'm not saying like, this is not about like your physical appearance. Like I'm talking just like the picture needs to be gorgeous. You know what I mean? This is not, I don't want anyone to feel bad. Like, I don't think I'm pretty or something. Cause no, that's complete bullshit. That's not this at all. But yeah, you have to have beautiful pictures. And I think the best pictures are just natural lighting. I don't care what kind of filters you have. I don't care if it's the best app in the world. If you didn't take the photo in natural lighting, it's not going to turn out cute. Like, it's just not. It's not going to be crisp and bright. So if you check your weather and you have like a kind of sunny day, partly cloudy day, those are the best days from like noon to 4 o'clock is when it's going to be the brightest and just so perfect. And plan out some outfits, you guys. Like I literally do this every week. I plan out some outfits so I don't have to think about it. And I just change my lipstick real quick, maybe change my earrings, and I go out with my selfie stick, and like I have a whole setup. It's like crazy. Like I have 2 lamps here, so this lighting looks good. Like I have all this crappy stuff in my house. It doesn't cost any money, but like I just kind of figured it out. And then I just go with my outfits, take a couple pictures. Maybe I go outside if my boyfriend is not feeling annoyed about taking pictures all the time. And he'll snap some pictures, and we do it like so fast. Like I can do 4 different outfits in like 2 hours, like really quickly. And then I have pictures for like 2 weeks, and they all are perfect lighting because I took them all on this one afternoon where the lighting was perfect and they all just fit. So if you can get that down, that will make a huge, huge difference because yeah, I mean, that's what Instagram was made for. Instagram was made to tell stories with photos. So the more beautiful the pictures, the more people are going to stop and want to scroll on your page. Also, when you're following people, it's that your pictures will catch their eye, and so they'll want to follow you back. And once you start really building up your algorithm and your posts start getting circulated outside of your followers, that's when all those organic people who don't even know you, they just see a really beautiful photo of you in their Explorer page, and they click on it and go to your page and want to follow you too. But it's always those pictures. Because how I try to realize what I should be doing is when I go to my Explorer page, I stop and think like, why did I click this person's photo? What is it about this picture that made me click it and go to their page and scroll for 25 minutes and just like look at their face over and over again? And it's always because the pictures are so bright and they, you know, their hair is nicely done and they have beautiful clothes on, you know, and none of these Instagram people look like this all the time, you know, but those are the things that catch my eye, is bright, colorful photos. Yes, natural lighting. Hey, Morgan, by the way. I love Morgan, you guys.
I keep forgetting, and I keep seeing like her name pop up by my face. I'm like, oh my goodness. I am Morgan Griffin.
So yeah, like Snapchat has like a smoothing effect, which, I mean, when we look at it, we're like, oh yeah, it looks so good, but that graininess is not good for your Instagram. But yeah, the natural lighting is everything. I feel like that always does the best. You know, when you check those travel pages that have 1 million likes, those pictures are just natural lighting. They're just so beautiful, and that's why people are drawn to them. So that's so important. So yeah, just find a day in the week that you want to do it and just go get it done. Go get it done. And then you can no bra life, no pants life for 10 days straight and still be like on Instagram, like, I look good today, but you didn't even shower. People don't know. That makes me feel so badass when I do that. I'm like, I'm about to post this picture and shock them all. And I'm just like a mess. Like my afro is like all dirty and squished on this side. It's, you know, this is a good life. It's a good life. So that's really important. So, okay, don't post every 5 seconds, really clear pictures. Oh, hashtags. I think when you are getting started, hashtags are huge. I never really paid attention to hashtags. I didn't know how they worked. I just thought, like, I don't know, it's just like another little thing you could do on Instagram. But I really started researching it because as I was following the girls, I have a couple girls I follow who I love their pages. And they have over 100,000 followers, and they did it all organically within like a year and a half or so. And they make like full-time money, you know, selling products for other companies. And they always have like a whole paragraph of hashtags. And I'm like, what is it about like this whole hashtag thing? And I realized every photo is the same paragraph of hashtags, every photo. And then when I did more research, I realized that their hashtags were like small categories into larger categories, if that makes sense. Like, you know, when you click a hashtag and it's like 38,000 whatever people hashtagged this, you know what I'm talking about? And then there's some that have like 3 million people hashtagged it. Like Friday has like 1 billion people who hashtag Friday. And so what I realized was about that is that every hashtag has its own circulation pool in the virtual world. And when you click a hashtag, there's always going to be the top 6 or 9 photos of the people who got the most interaction within that hashtag, which is great because that means those people are going to get seen more when a random person like me goes to that hashtag. And then also everyone else who used that hashtag, your photos will be in chronological order in that hashtag. So what that means is if you are posting a photo and you are going to use these hashtags, you want to start with smaller groups of hashtags because then you have a higher chance of being in the top of the best photos of that hashtag, I hope that makes sense. This is like kind of, I feel like I always tongue tie myself when I speak about this. Because like, say you hashtag, I don't know, something that has only 15,000 hashtags total. And you posted a really beautiful post and used this hashtag and your picture got 200 likes and 17 comments. So when someone clicks that hashtag, your post is going to be at the top because it got so much engagement. So when people are going to see you and click on your page and be like, oh, like this is one of the best photos for this hashtag. I'm going to click on it. And so you want to do the hashtags with the smaller group first because you have a higher rate of being in the best of that hashtag. I hope this is making sense. I feel like I explained this really good one time and then my brain gets all tongue-tied with it. And then the bigger hashtags as you go down because like social media has like levels of viralness. And you can't go to like, you're not going to be put in the 200 million pile unless you get to the top of the 15,000 and then the 45,000 and then the 100,000. Like that's kind of how it works. That's why, you know, those people who are just super famous on social media and they get like 3 million likes because their stuff has been liked so much that it gets circulated to like everybody to like it. So hashtags really are helpful. And so I started doing that with curly girl hashtags because that's sort of more my niche and things that I like. And it's really been working so great for me. I get about 5 to 6 organic follows a day of real accounts, not like spam accounts, not, you know, other things like that. And I was really focusing on that this month, and I'm almost up 200 followers just this month, and most of them are organic follows. I kind of cut back on Captivate a little bit just because I want to see how this works, and I'm really excited about it. I only use Captivate once a week right now because I want to really be able to see, like, is this what I'm doing? Is it working? And I'm almost up 200 followers. So I'm really excited about that. So hashtags do matter. So you just have to find ones that are in your niche. And you don't want them to be like super generic except the ones at the end. So you got to figure out like what's your main things. Like, yeah, we're It Works people, but we should never be hashtagging It Works or entrepreneur or business or anything like that, because like who actually goes to those hashtags? Not a normal person. You know, they're not going to go to a hashtag like that. Only those annoying spam accounts who are like, do you want to buy followers from me? So you don't want to do that. So you got to figure out like what's your niche. Are you like a dog? Are you a dog mom? Are you regular mom? Are you I don't know, like I tag a lot of black girl, mixed girl kind of hashtags. Are you whatever race you are? You can find other people like you who are interested in what you know and your ancestry and things like that. Or are you a food person? Or if you're big into the keto lifestyle, like, you know what I mean? And then you want to make sure you use those same hashtags over and over and over again, because the more you stay consistent with that, people are going to know you for those hashtags. The algorithm likes consistency like that, because then it feels, I read an article about this. It's less like, it just is more normal, right? Because normal people, they only post the same type of stuff instead of always trying to post all these, like a million things all the time. Like my hashtags used to always be different, and there's no consistency with where my posts would end up. So you want to be consistent with that. So yeah, find some hashtags that are you, and make sure you check them. Like, you know, obviously if you're going to hashtag dog mom, that probably has like millions of people who hashtag that. So you probably want to find something that's a little less, like dog mama might be only 80,000, or dog mamas with an S. So smaller pools, but it still relates to you. So that's something I've really found when I started being consistent with my hashtags and making sure my hashtags are always in the same niche and posting the same paragraph of hashtags every single post. I'm getting a lot of organic follows. And that's really, really, really exciting. I still use Captivate. I've just been using it less. I'm trying to decide if I want to use it a little more. I'm just scared that I'm going to start getting blocked again. And I think in January, I was using it so much, and then my engagement went down a lot. So I feel like that has something to do with it. And so I'm still working on that. And then I will let everybody know kind of how I'm using each thing. So yeah, those are the biggest things. Don't post a million times. Have really bright photos. Don't post straight up It Works spammy things on your page. Hashtags really do help a lot. I think those are my best. Oh my God, I forgot the biggest one. Interaction. I always forget that because that's just like so second nature to me. Interaction, that should be number one, actually. That should go at the very beginning of all of these. So there's five big tips for algorithms. Interaction is huge, because that's the most organic thing you can do on social media. Like that's what social media was for, so that people could communicate with each other. So when you're interacting a ton, that tells the algorithm that you are a normal person and it's cool to circulate your posts because people like to talk to you and you talk back and forth and all those kinds of things. And when you are commenting, make sure you do 4 words or more, or it doesn't really help the circulation at all. You really want to do four words or more to really, kind of really make a genuine comment for people. So that's something that's huge. And even Taylor did this on a video the other day where, you guys can just play your stories all night. That's another huge thing. I do that every night. I just press play before I go to sleep and let all my stories play. During the day, I do tons of interaction on my stories. Like almost every day I spend 1 hour in the middle of afternoon and 1 hour in the evening. And I just go through and like, if I see something I really like, I just send a response to stories, which is really, really good. And it's so easy. I love doing that. It's a great way to do easy interaction. And now that our timelines are in chronological order again, it's going to be so much easier to respond on timeline photos. Cause I literally stopped responding on timeline photos because it was so annoying. It was like post from this person 5 days ago. And it was just like really messy. And I felt like I only ever saw the same 5 people on my timeline on Instagram. So now there's a whole bunch of new people, which is fun. And also when you reply to people's stories, then it brings their timeline posts into your timeline too. So you have more interaction with those people. Yeah, so interaction is huge, huge, huge. And just make sure you're genuine with your comments. And always try to say something where someone will respond back to you, because that's really good. Like that back and forth is really, really good. Yeah, I think, yeah, those are my 5 tips that I've been using myself. And I'm just really excited about my business again. It's just fun and it feels effortless again. So yeah, those are my 5 tips.
With commenting, the quicker you respond to comments, the better, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The first 60 minutes is super, super important. That tells the algorithm, you know, is your post interesting? Should I circulate it to more people? So that's why we have those comment pods where you can get in a group with some friends and just be like, hey, I posted, if you wouldn't mind commenting, and have people do that right away. Yeah, because comments give the most weight. Likes don't really do that much unless you get to the point where you're getting like 1,000, 2,000 likes. Then obviously that makes a difference. But when we're, you know, still getting 150 likes, 200 likes, that's still not quite enough to bounce your post outside of your followers. And that's really what we are trying to do, right? You know, when you're just normal, your posts only circulate to your followers, and you want your post to pop into the sphere of other random people. So yeah, getting comments tells the algorithm that that's a good post, that other people are going to want to see this, and they will circulate it to more people. And that's another reason why all those hashtags are really good too, because I've noticed that when I have people who I've never seen their Instagram names before, so they've never commented before, and they probably found my post through one of the hashtags that I did, because it's always like new curly girls or other kind of girls like that, and those are the types of things I hashtag. So I know they found me through those hashtags. I've noticed on posts where I have those organic comments from people who I don't follow, that post gets circulated more, and I get way more likes too. So that's really, really good with those hashtags and getting those comments. So yes, first 60 minutes. So, you know, be a friend to your friends. Get in a comment pod if you're not in one. And when you post, just let people know you posted. If you don't normally get a lot of comments, so that you can just get that weight of your post going, and it will circulate more throughout the day and outside of your followers. Yeah. Okay.
Do you guys have any other questions about that? Any other algorithm questions? If you do, put them in the chat, and then we can go on to the next. I think the other big question, nobody's unmuting themselves, so I'm just assuming you guys are, I'm just assuming. I think the other big question they had was about your process of enrolling distributors.
Okay.
Because they're all going for the enrolled. So just like things you do daily, your process, whatever you got.
Okay, so well, my biggest thing now, obviously, is doing attraction marketing. I used to have to message for distributors all the time. And this is not saying don't message for distributors. Like, if that's your thing, do that. But in the history of my business, people who've reached out to me are always my best distributors who've stuck around, who've worked. With the new way I've been doing this, and I'm getting, 40, 50 potentials a month, PDTs who are coming to me. So I am not messaging for distributors right now, because I'm spending a lot of time just interacting with the people who've come to me, following up with them, really making them my focus, since, they're obviously interested. If that isn't happening for you right now, as you're working for attraction marketing, of course, you should be messaging for distributors. And I think the easiest way to do that is putting up polls on your story. I think that's such a great way to find people who might be interested in the business. I think I love doing that because I don't know if you guys notice when you go to your followers list and try to message, it's always in a different order and it's like jumbled. And I feel like the top 2,000 are always people who've already messaged before, and it's really annoying. So what I really like to do before I was getting so many PDTs coming to me is posting a poll on my story, or just saying like, I got $100 bonus this week. Like, who would love an extra $100 a week you can make from your phone just for your nails or whatever, swipe up. And just go and message the people who viewed it. You know, and you don't have to say, you don't have to say anything like, oh, I saw that you viewed my story, because then that just sounds like creepy and weird, and you don't want to turn people off from viewing your stories anymore, or they think like, oh, she'll talk to me about this if I view it. They have no idea the reason you message them is because they viewed your story. You know what I mean? They have no idea that that's why. So, but it's a great way to kind of find some people who obviously are interested to some degree, because like, I don't sit and watch stories of people I'm not interested in. So obviously if they kept watching your story and viewed that part, then you know they're interested to some degree. So that's something I love doing, to find PDTs and find an easy group of like 200 views. I can just go down the list and message them. So that's nice and quick. So let's see. So I guess, let me look at my messages to see what I would send them. I know everybody's been doing, hey girl, quick question. I started doing that for LCs, but I haven't done that for distributors. But it works amazing for low customers. So for distributors, I used to just message people and be like, oh wait, I have it in my notes. PDT messages. Always like to keep it really simple. I feel like the more I keep things really simple these days, the better results that I get. Okay, well, I don't know where it is, but anyway, it's like literally like 5 sentences. It's like, hey girl, I've seen your post pop up in my page on my timeline a couple of times, and I always am drawn to your page, and you seem like such a sweet person. So I was just wondering if you might be interested in making money from your social media, because yours looks just as good as mine, and I make money doing this. Like, do you want to know more info? Like something really, really like simple like that, that just tells people like, you have a perfect Instagram to make money. Like, if you could make money and post like you already do, would you want to know about that? Really, really simple messages like that. That's like how I guess I would cold message a PDT. I haven't done it for like 2 months because I just am talking to people who come to me, but that's how I would cold message a PDT. And it's great if you just do people in your views. I used to message people who liked my timeline posts, but it's always the same. It's usually about the same people. So I don't even really spend time going through that anymore. I would spend more time being like, oh, I already messaged this person. Oh, I already messaged this person. And at the end of going through 200 likes, there's only 5 new people. So I don't really do that anymore. I think stories are way easier. And then of course, if you do get to a point, where you feel like the viewers on your story are the same, then of course, go to your followers list. And what I do is I just type in like a couple letters, and that'll bring up people. So you can kind of find a new group of people to message. Just type in like AS, and it will bring up like a million Ashleys and whatever. And that makes it a little easier than just scrolling in the list if you just kind of search some letters or some names like that. Okay, so when I talk to my PDTs, when they come to me, so I love the 3 questions that Ali Frazier does. That has really helped me so much with my conversations, because I used to be I used to be scared to like be upfront with people and be like, yeah, like this takes work, and I realized that wasn't good for me, and it wasn't good for people because they didn't really know what they were getting into. So I'm super open with people now about really what they have to do, and that has made such a difference, because I think it's made me more relaxed and confident when I'm talking to people, because I don't feel like I'm holding things back from them, and they can feel from my energy that I'm being like real legit with them, and like, this is what it is. I laid it all out on the table for you, and then they feel more comfortable. So I start off by saying like, I'm super pumped to tell you about this. And then I ask them right away, do you know anything about network marketing outside of my posts? And just so I make sure they follow me back. I used to only say that, and then I realized people didn't respond, because I think maybe they thought like, oh no, I don't know anything, I'm not going to respond. So I always say like, I didn't know a damn thing before I started, LOL. And then that like breaks the ice. So that's my first message, and like everybody responds back. And I just want to know, just so that if there's already some prejudgments of what we do, I can address those right away. And that's really good because, you know, people might have wrong ideas about our business. And as soon as you can get rid of those, everything else is going to go better. So I always ask people if they know anything about network marketing. Most people say no, but some people say yes. And I'm like, oh, were you with another company or whatever? And they say, yeah, I was with another company and it was horrible because of this and this and this. And so I immediately say, okay, well, let me tell you why it works is different. We don't have to have inventory. We don't have to ship anything. We have this amazing discount program, so our products are not expensive, like things like that. So they're already more open to the idea instead of when we're having the conversation, they already are judging it based off of their previous experience. So I think that's why it's so important in the beginning of the conversation just to say like, hey, do you know anything about network marketing? And it's fine if you don't. I just, you know, want to know where you're at with this. And that's totally normal. Like in regular interviews, people do that all the time. They say, what's your experience in this field, right? It's so normal. And I think it's really good to do that. So you can just know where your PDT's head is at, because if you know that, you can have a better conversation with them. Okay, so most people say no. When they say yes, then I always ask them, were you with another company? And they always say yes. And then they'll tell you their things with that. And you can just say why it works is different and why you like it better. And then I just finish the conversation. So when they say no, then I say, okay, cool. I'll start from the beginning. And then I always kind of start and I just talk about me first. I don't go right into, I work here that works and it works, has been around for 17 years, blah, blah, blah. I don't do that. I used to do that and I felt like that never got a good result. So I always start off and I just share about a little bit about me, not too long, but you know, just like a good chunk, like, you know how much space in Instagram you can have before it gets cut off, just about that much space, you know. And I just say, I built my entire business on social media. I started this business because I just needed more money and I already had 2 jobs, didn't have a lot of time. I needed something that I could do to pay my student loans, and I was able to do this from my phone, paid off some debt. Within a year, I was able to quit. So I can really focus on the things in my life that are really important to me. Like very simple like that. Just, you know, I don't say, you want to be careful of saying too many of your accomplishments, because then you become unrelatable and maybe intimidating on accident. So just be careful of laying out like, I got $50,000 in bonuses and I paid off all my debt and I traveled to 7 countries. Like, because then it also sounds like they're like, girl, I think you're lying, you know? So just talk about like the simple joys of life that this business helped you with. And I find that is so much more relatable to people when I just say, you know, I can pay my student loans every month and I've lost the weight I was trying to lose for 10 years. And I was finally able to quit, you know, my office job, and which has been so nice because I have so much more time to do the things that I love. And people really can relate to that, because in a general sense, without having to know anyone's life, everybody wants that same thing. They want to be able to pay their bills. They want to have time for the things they love. And most people want to feel better, because when you're working like a dog, you feel like crap all the time. So I kind of just say that in a general sense. And then when I finish that, I literally ask them, please tell me more about you. And I think that works so great to keep the conversation going. And it makes people feel like they care. I'm not that you care, which you do care. We do care. And it's about, I think sometimes we forget, like we're so like, I need to tell them all the information. I need to tell them all the information. And I think we need to remember there needs to be a point where you're like, you know, tell me a little bit more about you and like why does this type of business seem appealing to you and things like that, because then you can really relate to them. So yeah, I said a little paragraph. Oh, did somebody say something?
Oh, sorry. That was me. I muted myself.
Oh.
And that helps down the road too, when you have them on your team and you can talk goals with them. And then when you're following up with them, you know, hey, like this is why you were interested, and you can throw those tidbits in there. So you want to know about them and see why that they would be right for your team. So that was the only thing I had to say.
Yep. Exactly. And I think that's so important. I think that's the biggest difference with loyal customer and distributor conversations is like with loyal customers, I'm totally all about like, figure out what they need, figure out their budget, get them on your website and sign them up. And I think sometimes we try to approach distributor conversations that way. And that's just the wrong way. You don't want to just try to get through it, get to the 99. Hey, do you want to join? Like that's just not going to work. And I used to do that too. Like I've always naturally been good at getting customers and not as good as getting distributors. And I realized you have to approach the conversations differently. And that's when I realized to really take the time to talk about them, ask them, what's your knowledge in this field? Let me share some things and just make the conversation real chill. Yeah, so I asked them, please tell me a little bit about yourself. And most people say, whatever they say, they don't like their job or they want to be with their kids or whatever, all these things. So that opens up so much room, for you to, this is my favorite part and why you have to not be like, I just want to sign people up, because you will skip over this part. And I think this is the most important part for enrolling distributors and making it really planting that seed is when, once they tell you about themselves, what you need to do is say, okay, this is her life. I'm going to tell her why It Works can fix every single problem she just told me about. You have to help them see why It Works can fix all those things for them. And I think when you do that for people, it opens their eyes. I know a lot of people do it opposite. They say what would $800 do for you? But I felt like I didn't get a good response from that. People almost didn't want to think about it. It was too much. So instead, what I started doing was when they tell me about themselves and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so excited to chat with you even more after hearing about that, because, you're tired every day and babysitters are so expensive, but you have to work. If you could make an extra $500 from your phone, you know what I mean? That would cover, the babysitting costs and you wouldn't be stressed about that. Or if they say they would love to quit their job completely, then I just say how amazing would it be to make that money from your phone and not have to rush to pick your kids up from the babysitter and worry about those things. Wouldn't that be so amazing? And I always end that next part with, wouldn't that be so amazing? And people are just like, oh my God, yeah, that would really they start to see what this opportunity can do for them personally, because I just took their life and made It Works be the solution for their life. And I think that's when you really hook people. And it's really important to do that and take that step with people. And I find that's the part of the conversation with PDTs where I go back and forth with them for an hour, and it's fine. Just let it flow. Let people talk sometimes. You just have to let them talk. And so I think that's the biggest part where I've noticed such a big difference with people and how people are signing up so much faster. Because I've helped them make a personal connection to this opportunity instead of them always just feeling oh, maybe I'll make a couple extra $100, or they only see why I love it, but now they have a personal connection for what it could really help them with. Yeah, and then I kind of just naturally let that part of the conversation stop. And then I literally go into okay, so the last bit of information is getting started. And I tell them, it's a one-time $99 for the starter kit. You get all this stuff in your kit. And something I started doing, I thought that was really good, is I always send a picture. I know the Fit 5 is going to be over, which breaks my heart. Ugh. I really hope they redo the kits and only maybe do 2 wraps and keto coffee and something. Still keep it at $99 value. I hope they redo that though, because it's so much nicer to be you get 4 different products. Anyway, getting off track. But what I've started doing is I tell them it's a one-time $99 for your kit. You get this and this and this, the website, blah, blah, blah. And then I send them a photo of the products. And I think that just makes it more real. They just get more excited. So I've been sending everybody I just say you get all this with the heart eye emoji. And I send the picture of the Fit 5 and they're like, wow, really? I'm yeah, all for $99. And then I send the next part where I'm this is plenty of product for you to try yourself. You can also sell it to make your investment back. You never have to ship anything. And, and then I just say, what do you think? And most, everybody, in the last 2 months, they're yeah, that sounds really amazing. Or they give me a date or whatever it is. But what I've realized is I used to never get people to respond back to me when I told them it was $99. And I know one of the biggest reasons was me. I wasn't confident in it. I was scared to be oh no, I'm going to lose my PDT at this point. I don't feel like that anymore, because I love this business and I know the value of that $99. And you have to know, because if you don't, no one's going to respond back to you when you tell them about the $99. So that's the first thing. If you're nervous, if you get nervous when you send that it's $99, you need to work on that ASAP. That's no good. But the second thing too, is just showing them what they get. It's exciting for them to see the products, because we have to remember we're talking to all these people and nothing is tangible for them. We're talking online. There's no tangible business. There's no nothing, right? So when you can give them a little visual, that makes things way more exciting for them. And then, yeah, I just say what do you think? Do you want to give this a shot? And people are always responding, and I'm always getting, a yes, but I need to wait, or a yes, and they put in my calendar book. And that's success right there, you guys. Like, that's business. You got through a whole conversation with someone. You figured out how this business can be a solution for them personally. You told them about the 99 and they give you a freaking date. Like, you got to be really like, that's your business. That's business. And all the rest of it's just following up. That's easy. Following up is the easy part. You already found people who are interested. So that is what is exciting. And also the one thing you really need to focus on too, because I found sometimes I strangle my results in a way when I would get too hung up on like, oh, I didn't get enough enrollments. And you have to realize, like, getting names in your book is success. And you got to be excited about that and be proud of yourself that someone told you they wanted to join your team. Like, that's a big deal and really a really important thing. So yeah, that's how I've been doing distributors now. It just feels really simple and easy, and I feel like I'm having fun with conversations. I don't know if you guys have ever felt like this, but there's sometimes when I feel so annoyed in conversations and I just like want to get through it and it doesn't feel fun talking to people. This new way of talking to PDTs feels so much more fun to me because I feel like they're excited because I'm helping them see how this is a solution. Because I mean, that's why so many people are sad these days. And right, they just feel like there's no solution for their problems, and you're helping them see that there's a solution. So they're like so excited, and then their excited energy rubs off on you, and you have so much more fun in the conversation. If the conversation is fun, you're going to get a better result. Yeah, so that's kind of how I'm doing it with distributors and signing people up. And oh, I skipped one step that I got from Allie too. After they tell me about themselves and that part of the conversation ends, before I tell them about the 99, sorry, skip this. I tell them what I do every day to build my business, because I think that's really important. I want people to know what I have to do. And I mean, it's a million times easier now with social media. So I do have a little paragraph where I say, just want to give you a little rundown on what I do daily to build my business. I post 1 to 2 times a day. I use my products and I share them on my story. I talk to people who message me. I also reach out to people, and I keep a log of my customers and I follow up. And I literally ask them, are you willing to do these things? And I think that also makes a difference, because you can know how serious people are for when you're following up. I've had people literally respond to me, not really. And then I'm like, okay, well, I literally tell them, message me when that answer is a yes. Because you don't want to waste your time either. And you don't want people on your team who you have to fight with to work. And I think that's simple. And like what I explained, how I work my business every day, is so simple. If your answer is not a yes, I don't want to waste my time. And honestly, I'm doing you a favor, because you're not going to waste $99. So that's another important step I like too. Also makes me feel more excited about talking to people, because obviously I'm like, this is what you have to do. Like, you have to post every day, and you got to use the products. Like, are you going to do this? And if they say, heck yes. And most people are like excited. They're like, really? Like, yeah, I'm down. I'll do it. It's just really making people be on the same page with you. And I think that people truly respect that too. And they get a level of trust with you, and they're like, wow, she was like really honest and told me like, it's going to be work and this is what I need to do. And I think that also makes a difference with, people being willing to invest in you. Because at the end of the day, before people really understand the true value of this business, they're choosing to invest $99 in you. And people respect people who are honest and are just upfront with things. And so that was the other part. So beginning of the conversation, do you know about network marketing? Yes, no. Then, okay, this is what it's helped me with, just on a very relatable scale. Please tell me about yourself. They tell you about themselves. Then you tell them, help them see how it works can be a solution to the specific things they said. Then once that part of the conversation dies down, then you tell them, okay, I just want to let you know what I do every day to build my business. Are you willing to do that? They say yes. If they say no, then you're just like, okay, well, this might not be a good fit for you. So like, maybe I can, message you in a month or two if you decide this is still for you or something like that. If they say yes, then okay, great. Just want to tell you about the 99, send them a picture of the products they get. And what do you think about that? Get them in your calendar book or sign them up. That's kind of how I've been doing it. I love it. It feels good. Getting so many names, getting people responding to me the same day I message them, and having the full conversation, which is super exciting. So yeah, that's what I'm doing with distributors.
I love that. Well, and I think a huge thing that I had to get over when I first started, I was like, any enrollment I could get, I was like, I want to enroll people. Like, I'll convince them to join. And then it's like, if you can have to convince them to join, you have to convince them to work. And you don't
Right.
want, I mean, you guys, a lot of you know, I know you know how it feels to have distributors on your team that you feel like you're push, pulling, and dragging with you. So the more upfront you are with them right away, and like, I mean, same thing. I ask people, are you willing to post a message on social media daily? And if they say no, I'm like, are you willing to host parties? Do meet and greets together? No?
Right.
Sorry, then I don't think this is a good fit for you. Let me know if
Right.
you change your mind, because I'm not going to waste my time. I'm not going to waste your time. Not about that life. There's somebody out there that's willing to do that, and they're going to be
Right.
my next Ambassador Diamond. I'm going to go find them. And
Yeah.
so I had to get over that, because when you first sign up, you're like, I need all the distributors anywhere I can find them. But you want to have good quality people on your team.
Mhm.
And I know that was one of their questions too. How do you get your team to work? How do you get your team to be motivated? Whatever. Which, I mean, we know
Mhm.
you can
Well,
inspire
I
them.
mean,
But
yeah, exactly. And that's, I mean, and that's definitely part of it too. Like the quality of the people that you enroll. You are going to have a better time with people who you had this whole conversation with, and they were like, yes, I'm willing to do this. Yes, I'm going to do that. And you got to know them already in the conversation. So when you already have this kind of level of, like camaraderie with people, and they join your business, like I feel like when I get to the point of enrolling people, we've already gone back and forth so much. I'm already on the, like, hey girl, like, how you doing? And like when they join and they don't really do the things they say, like I feel comfortable enough with them, like, so you said you were gonna post every day and I don't see nothing from you today. Like, come on, like, and then that's also why it's so good to find out about their life, because you can always go back and be like, I thought this was really important to you, so you didn't have to take your kids to a babysitter anymore. And like I used to be afraid to say things like that too, because I don't want to offend people. But if you're being really genuine, which we are, like it's really like hey girl, like I want to help you fix this problem, but I need you to post every day. Can you do that? Can you commit to one post a day just to start? And I think just those little things, like caring about people and showing them that you remember why they joined and things like that, help motivate people. When people will be the most motivated when they feel loved. That is the biggest thing that I've learned. Not obviously you need to lead from the front. Like nobody is inspired by a leader who tells people to do everything and they're doing nothing. But that's a non-starter. We all know that. But I think the second biggest thing that I learned was like you have to love people. Like you just do. I feel like the vibe on my team is just we're all like so kind to each other and so supportive. And I went through an angry leader phase the second time. I went through the first time after Diamond. I feel like everyone goes it after Diamond, and it's like so fun. I love watching other people go through it now. Horrible. But I went through it a second time in 2017 with just so many things that happened on my team. Had a lot of craziness with my international distributors. And I just realized like you just have to love people. Like when people aren't doing good, it's because they're not confident in themselves. If people are not doing good, it's because they just don't feel supported. They feel like nobody cares, or they just lost their belief in themselves. And there's nothing that makes people believe in themselves more than when someone's like, hey, I love you. I think you're doing a good job. Like when people say that to me, I'm like, I can do anything. I'm going to enroll 12 distributors today. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's so simple, but we forget that. So leading from the front, of course, and just loving on people. As much as I make it a point to pay attention to my PDTs and PLCs and interact with them, I make it a point to do that with my own team. And I think sometimes we neglect our team because they're like already in the business and like, I need to interact with a million other people. I don't want to spend time interacting with my team, but that's important too. And I always try to make sure every day I go to my team and I'm like, girl, you are killing it. Excuse me. I love you. You're so amazing. I'm so proud of you. Like those things are so important because we live in a world where that's just so not common anymore. And so many people struggle and they don't have parents or they don't have this or they don't have that. And we forget how uplifting and confidence boosting it is when someone's like, I believe in you. It can make all the difference. So those are my two keys. And I've realized always get me the best results, leading from the front yourself and just loving on people. Like as much as people can be frustrating and you feel like, it's easy to want to go the other route where you think you can criticize people into being better or make them feel bad so they feel better. That never works. you only destroy people really and push them away. So you just have to love on everybody. Yeah, that's the what I've found to, to motivate my team. Love people where they're at, and they will surprise you with the next level that they can get to. Because I have some girls on my team who, like, when I was less mature in the business, and I'd be like, oh, they're not really getting anywhere, so I kind of ignored them. You know what I mean? And I mean, to a degree, you can't pay attention to everyone on your team, because like you have to have a focus. But I think sometimes, maybe me personally, I did it too much, where I ignored people who I didn't think were doing what I felt they needed to do. And I started just, loving on people who were trying. And this goes back to stop thinking enrollments mean everything. Enrollments are not all of the success. Like, yes, in the long run, they make us the money, but if you have people on your team who are posting every day and they're passionate and they're excited, I have a couple girls like that. They've been in the business for 2 years, and they like maybe got like a 1 or 2 LCs a month. And I just started loving on them, commenting on their posts every day, being like, you are amazing. Like, yeah, you should join this girl's team. She's the best leader. And now this girl, I just posted about her the other day. She is charted for Ruby, and she literally only enrolled 1 LC like a month for the last 2 years. And now all of a sudden she's Ruby, and the girls on her team are enrolling. And the only thing I changed was I started loving on her all the time. Like, that tells you that it's so powerful. So that's what I say, those 2 things for motivating the team. Lead from the front, love on your people. Love on your people who are trying. If they're trying, then they deserve some energy from you and some good vibes. And it will, nothing makes anything grow as fast as some love. So yeah.
Well, and I think giving people the opportunity to be leaders. Like, there were so many times where I was like, oh, I don't know if they're ready to do that by themselves. And then I started kind of like kicking people out of the nest, and I watched them like start to blossom into beautiful leaders. I'm like, I was just never giving them a chance, because I definitely had a goal that I was definitely like the mean leader, and then I was definitely kind of have my blinders on, and anybody who's not a mass enroller, I'm like, me. And I was like, okay, what I'm doing is not working, and I need to love more, and I need to give people a chance, because not everybody comes out of the womb being a network marketer. So like,
I wasn't. So I don't know why I was expecting other people. I sucked. And then I'm like, oh, I can't believe this person isn't doing their steps to success in 4 months. And I'm like, I didn't until like month 8. Like, wow, I'm so hypocritical and so rude. Like, those times you really got to look in the mirror and be like, ooh, I'm embarrassed.
For real about the whole diamond thing, though. You like go diamond, and I did it again when I went double. And I was like, I know everything. I can't learn anything.
Yeah. The greatest thing I've learned is to always think I know nothing, and everything goes better. Right.
Well, and it's always changing. We're learning new things every single day. That's why I'm always like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What do I need to learn? Who's rocking it right now? Like, what can you tell me? Anything. I'm open to anything, because it's a changing industry constantly. You're never going to know everything. You're always going to be learning. So,
and social media is ever changing. So like, we have to always be looking for the changes, because I mean, that's our team, at least. That's our main method of building our business. So it's important to evolve with it.
Okay, I think that is everything, or at least the major things that we wanted to go over, unless you have anything else.
I don't really have anything else other than like, I mean, for me, I think, everything stems from your self-worth and how you view yourself. Those are always the tips that I always come back to. It doesn't matter it's the same thing with working out, right? Some people will run 2 hours a day and they will work out so much, but they don't fuel their bodies, and they don't understand why they don't have the results they want, why they don't have the abs or whatever. And it's the same thing with everything we want to be successful with in life. That if you aren't fueling you, it doesn't matter how hard you pound the pavement, you're not going to get the results you want. Like, it just ends up not working, or you're going to do it and be unhappy, right? Like, you become that angry leader or that angry person, or you're not happy with your success because you're not happy with yourself. And so I think that's kind of always my thing. I'm I'm such an inner self-love person. I feel like that's always where I end up talking to people. But I feel like it's just it's so important, because I feel like every time I've gotten stuck in my business is because I've gotten stuck with myself. And when I feel really good about myself and I've made that next breakthrough with my own self-love or confidence, my business like explodes and all these people want to join my team and my team's doing so good. You know, that correlation is very clear and very real. And so just as much as you're learning how to talk to distributors and how to post and about the algorithms, don't forget to learn about yourself and work on self-development, because that's what's going to keep you strong. That's going to keep you going on your journey. It's going to fill your cup so you have so much energy to deal with all the people you have to deal with, because to a degree, we're like mini therapists. You know, people come in this business broke down. And, you know, we're their hope. And so we have to handle all of that. And if we are not good and whole and complete and have a sturdy foundation, we're not going to be able to do that. So that's my last tip, is like, don't forget that you are so important too. And I used to sometimes feel like, oh, I shouldn't work out today. I shouldn't waste an hour. I should go message, or I shouldn't do this. And no, that's wrong. You being the best version of you is also incredibly productive for your business. So don't ever forget that. Take care of yourself. But yeah.
Yes, definitely. The stronger your mental game, the stronger your whole life game. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the same with my journey with my sobriety, going to therapy, getting all my shit under control. Like, I had to get my shit straight before I could move to, and now it's like my business has never been better. And it's like, you get you know, what was that say? Who said that? You don't get the blessings you pray for until you become the person and the leader who deserves those blessings. And like, I think that goes right along with that, with your personal growth, your personal development, taking care of yourself. It's like the most important thing. And that has always run side and side parallel with my business success. Is how well I care for me. So
I'm definitely one of those people. If I don't feel good, I can't do anything. Like, I just can't. I'm such an energy person. So I think it's just a really important part, because I feel like we always think that the one place we can cut if we don't have enough time is cut the time where we work on us or our workouts, or spending time to make proper, you know, meal prep for yourself and things like that. And it's like, that's just, you will do better and have more energy and get more done in a less amount of time when you feel your absolute best. So taking care of you is money. That's money. Like, Beyonce isn't, you know, almost a billionaire because, you know what I mean? Because she is who she is so good, so good. That's why she's where she is, and she stays at the top all the time, you know, because she works on herself all the time. Like, I'm always creeping on her stuff. I'm like, can you give me your tips, Beyonce? Like, what books are you reading? And thanks. It's so important. You know, when you watch all those videos about those celebrities, they always talk about how they have all of these moments, so much time spent on them and getting away and meditating and stuff. And it's for a reason. You know, they're at the top for a reason. So, but yeah, that's it. I will shut up, or I will keep on going. I could talk
You're fine.
forever.
I can tell everyone's like taking it all in, so you're perfectly fine. And we don't want to take up too much of your time either, but we really, 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 really appreciate you doing this for us.
I love it. It's good. Thanks for asking me.
Oh, of course.
I was like, oh my God, really?
Yes, really. You were like one of the first people that was requested. So I'm like, yep, I'm asking.
Well, I'm glad. This is just as filling for me too, as it is, you know, to talk about it. You know, it's also good. If I feed off of your guys' energy and your vibe, so I feel awesome too.
Awesome. Well, you have a really, really good. What time is it there? I have to know.
3:16 a.m.
Okay, so you stay up that late every single night? Do you like run off our time kind of in the middle?
Yep, most of my team is in the U.S. So this is usually my bedtime, like 3:30 a.m. and then I wake up around 11 a.m. my time. So it's really not that bad. I feel like most people in America stay up till 2 or 3 too. You know, it just seems crazy because for you guys it's like 8 p.m. or something, and it's in the middle of the night for me, but it's really not any different.
Okay. That was one I'm like, I have to ask her about that because I feel like that's so crazy. But I guess if your team is all awake, then
Right. Like, I have to be up for them. So I'm used to it, but it's all good.
You'll be back with us soon, right?
Yeah, I'm going to be back. I have to be back by June. So I'm getting kicked out of the country. So I'll be back very soon.
Okay. Sounds good. We'll have to come to, we'll come visit you. We'll do a team retreat and we'll come visit you.
Yes, please. That'd be so fun. Oh yeah, you're in Tennessee now. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
when I come visit Wisconsin, I'll be close to you guys, but you're in Tennessee now.
Well, if you go to Wisconsin, just they're all, everybody, I think, yeah, everybody else on here is from Wisconsin.
Oh,
So,
really? That's so cool.
yeah. So I'll just come up there when you come and we'll just all get together.
Fab, fab, fab. That sounds so
All
awesome. Yeah,
right.
I can't wait. All right. Well, so great. So proud of you guys on Taylor's team for winning this Zoom. You guys are awesome. That's so awesome. Be so proud of yourselves.
Yes, I'm so proud of all of you. You guys rock. All right, love. Well, thank you so much. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, Vanessa.
You're welcome. Bye, guys.
Love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.